Good morning, YouTube. It is Saturday, March 19th, straight up 6 a.m. and gas price seems to be holding steady at $4.59 here at QT. Well, I guess the gas companies have figured out what the sweet spot is that is ridiculously inflated, but that people will still pay for, which has got me a little disappointed. I was hoping I'd see it get up to $5.29, maybe $6-7, and people would start rethinking public transit again. But that's a pipe dream. So just got myself a microwave burrito there at QT. One of the Don McDowell burrito carne asada. It's absolute garbage compared to those burritos that they have down at Speedy Street Tacos. And honestly, I don't even find it to be as good as the ones that I get at Del Taco or Taco Bell, but neither Del Taco or Taco Bell is open right now, and I don't really feel like walking all the way to Speedy Street Taco. I was thinking I might want to ride the bus a little bit, but I realized when I was at QT that I don't have a mask on me, so that could make riding the bus problematic. It blows my mind that there's people still enforcing mask mandates of usage and mandates of any kind anywhere at this point, because I think there's been at this point more than enough evidence and admission from authority figure types that cloth masks don't do shit. But some people are clinging tight to their placebo. So what you gonna do? One of those things is the public bus system. In fact, I got hassled early yesterday morning. I don't know if I should say hassled, but I got asked by transit security on the light rail as I was making my way home from the nightmare that was early yesterday morning. I wonder if this guy's he's turning good. I'm using one of these, now I forget what the heck they're called, unmarked crosswalks. This is one too. But yeah, I'm not too worried as I cross Hubbel on 44th Street right here. But yeah, trying to cross 44th Street is generally a pretty scary thing. It's six lanes of we don't give a fuck about your about anybody who's walking type road traffic, and anyway, it's not so bad at 6 a.m. on a Saturday. So walking down Hubbel, and all the time I've spent living in this area, I don't think I've ever walked down this block of Hubbel. Walk down Oak quite frequently. I walk down Palm Lane, the next street south, quite frequently. But oh, look at this! I just ran out of sidewalk. Because fuck you if you walk. Yeah, but hey, if you got a big old lifted truck, just park it there in the grass, because that's what that's for. All right. And the sidewalk is back. Anyway, where was I? So I never walked down this block of Hubbel. The sidewalk is hit and miss going down Palm, so it's not really any worse, because we just lost the sidewalk again. So I'm walking the grass. That's the space next to the curb is parked in. Wow, look at this. We got a recent remodel going on here. What's that say? 1 in 3 women die of heart disease every year. That's nice. Yeah. A lot of pedestrians die from not having safe sidewalks to walk on. Maybe you should do something about your sidewalk in front of your house. All right, so I'm out of sidewalk again. Anyway, this is as far as I've never walked down this way. This works pretty good. So I'm on my way over to The Wanderin. They're a first call kind of bar. They open at 6 o'clock. So they probably just now opened. And I don't really have much there in the way of food, but I've never had a problem with them letting me eat food that I bring in there. So microwave burrito cooling down in my right pocket. Speaking of microwave burritos, microwave has quit working. The thing's infested with cockroaches because Priscilla is absolutely incapable of keeping the kitchen clean, and it's, well, here we have a sidewalk and person is actually parked on it. Yeah, thanks for that, asshole. Wow. I wonder if this person has enough vehicles in their driveway. Let's see, we got one on the street and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 right there. Dang. Anyway, yeah. Have I mentioned how car-centric Phoenix is? Phoenix is pretty damn car-centric. The only people who walk in Phoenix are the homeless and the people who've lost their driver's license, and the suicidally depressed. So, and if you're not in either of those first categories, after a while of walking, you'll quickly find yourself in the third one. So, anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, walking for first call. There's first call always at the Wanderin, and I'm just not. I mean, it's 6 a.m. and the girlfriend still hasn't. Well, I mean, she might be home now, but she wasn't home. 15. It's 6:07 now, so she wasn't home 20 minutes ago when I left home. So it's safe to assume she's not there now. Now, to be fair, she doesn't really have an easy way to contact me and let me know where she's at. And it's not like she's my wife, so it's not like she has to ask me for permission to go somewhere. And what wives respect their husbands that more these days anyway, But anyway, this is neat. I've come down this stretch of 42nd Street before, but I've never noticed how opposite Hubbel there's like a right-of-way or an alley here. I can't really tell if this is a public easement or if this is someone's private property, and it's dark enough that I'm not trying to give a property owner a legitimate reason to pull a gun on me, so I think I'm going to head south on 42nd Street, and it's the way to the bar anyway. So you hear the roosters crowing, the sun's coming up. Venus still visible high in the sky. Don't know if this, you can see it in the image there. I always love it when I can see Venus in the night sky. I want to believe that there's a better society there, and it's just some other type of life that our scientists can't identify as life. I know that's bizarre, but I don't know. I guess I want to believe that somewhere on another planet, maybe that one that I can actually see regularly, there's a society that with life in it that's not as miserable and painful as it is here. I dig that house. Anyway, random thoughts going through my fucked up head. The cockroaches in the microwave oven, apparently they've chewed up enough of the electronics that they've killed it. So that's weird. It seems like that happened once before, and then it started working again. So maybe just the outlet is loose. And to be honest, I didn't check it because Priscilla's got so much shit in the kitchen that I just can't. I can't even, get to where it is plugged in. It wouldn't frustrate me. It's like, well, it's your kitchen. You should clean it too. There's some mess there that's attributable to me. I can't see none of that as my mess, but 100% of food mess, dirty dishes mess, the inside of my refrigerator that y'all saw in the last video, if you watched it. If not, check it out. Yeah, that's none of that is me. None of that is me. I don't dirty any dishes. I mean, I if you watch this vlog at all, you've seen I pretty much live out of fast food places and prepackaged foods, and yeah, that's a pretty damn, and bar food, and yeah, it's a pretty damn unhealthy way to eat, but I don't feel like I can comfortably and sanitarily prepare food in that kitchen, and that's how Priscilla keeps her kitchen. So I am very much responsible for all the for a bunch of electronics and scooter parts that are across from the sink on my table. That's definitely my mess. And the recycling bins for plastic and aluminum, those are overflowing, and that's I'll take credit for that mess. But again, it's not food preparation areas. It's the food, and those areas are not the areas that are over they're crawling with roaches either. The roaches really aren't interested in any of that. But they sure like to climb through the microwave, and they've killed it. And what got me on the tangent about the microwave? Oh yes, so I bought one of these microwave burritos and took it home when I got home yesterday morning after all the trauma of getting passed by the bus and having sort of a mental breakdown and screaming at cars and playing chicken with cars and yelling at people and giving low emotional blows to probably somebody even more vulnerable than myself. And I think I was going to that story when the last video cut off. Anyway, I went back there yesterday evening, and I was looking for him, and I feel bad. I don't remember his name. And if there was anybody that could have came back in a retaliatory way and literally kicked me while I was down, it was him. It was after all the frustration and losing my iPhone and seeing the guy run off with it, and seeing and then missing another bus just right by me. And granted, I wasn't like right by the bus stop, but I was kind of waving, and in some places a bus will stop for you if you do that. But I don't know, in this city, it takes an effort to get them to stop at the actual stops. So, and I just didn't have it in me to sit and wait, especially without my iPhone to keep me occupied. And with all the obviously savages I was surrounded by, I just didn't feel up to waiting. Another 30 minutes, I walked around behind Bullock's. I did call Bullock's from this phone, and I talked to Sean, and I talked to Bree, and I don't even remember what I was saying. I was probably just sounding like a babbling idiot, because I was crying. I was just emotionally distraught and falling apart, and I was cottonmouth from just screaming and running after the guy who stole my phone. And I just asked him if I could come back into the bar and just get some water and try to calm down, and was basically told no. They said that they were in the process of leaving, and they were leaving themselves, so they couldn't let me in. And it's like, well, and I don't know if they were or not. All I know is at that point, like I hung up the phone, the other bus drove by, and I realized it'd be another 30 minutes for another bus, and I went back behind the bar and near on the outside of the little cage that is the back patio, and just curled up in a ball and cried myself to sleep. And I didn't get noticed or woke up by the rest of the Thursday night crew when they left. So apparently, potentially dead karaoke DJ outside the back door is not something that would be noticed by Sean or Bree or any of the rest of the Thursday night crew. But I did get noticed by the guy that sweeps the parking lot, and And he wouldn't have been out of line whatsoever if he'd have came up and just started kicking me in the side after the hateful things that I had said to him earlier. But he didn't. I mean, it started as a shouting match between me and him and his sister, who I think is somebody who came. I ran in front of her when she was in the car, but she got aggro enough to actually make a U-turn and come at me on the wrong side of the road on Bethany. She was headed, if it's who I think she was, I'm not 100% positive because things were pretty fuzzy for me, but I think she was headed westbound, about to cross I-17 when I kind of ran at her and I was yelling at her, and then she drove past me, and then right as she hit, right like the west side access road for I-17, she did a U-turn and drove directly at me on the wrong side of the median, wrong side of the road, which is that's pretty psycho. I mean, not saying I wasn't psycho, because I was completely psycho, but you know what? I'm not. What's the most I could have done to her? I mean, theoretically, I might have been armed, but I wasn't. But I mean, she's ready to bring on some vehicular manslaughter. So anyway, she came at me, and then I jumped out of the way, and then once she turned and went northbound on 26th Avenue, I just started running after her, yelling at her, saying, "Come back and get out of that car, I'll fucking kill you, bitch." And I was not in a good state. Anyway, they both woke me up, and she got frustrated. I was, at that point, I didn't even really know what to say. I felt like a complete asshole, and she took off, and I just started crying, and I ended up just having a pretty bizarre heart-to-heart talk with the guy that cleans the parking lot at Bullock's. And he's homeless, and he's definitely got some drug issues. It's, I don't think highly of that, but whatever. And apparently he just got out of jail, and I'm like, well, what the fuck was wrong with you that you're in jail? Because I always talk about how it's fucked up that people make an assumption that, if you go to jail that you're a bad person, and there I was making that exact assumption, being a complete fucking hypocrite. And he proceeded to tell me, and I'm sure there's probably more to it, but now he was just in a hotel room a block away, trying to, just trying not to be on the streets, just chilling, minding his own business. And cops came in and raided everybody and arrested everybody, so guilt by association, I guess. He was there. And I mean, it's entirely possible he didn't have any drugs on him. It's entirely possible he was just simply there sleeping, and other people were doing what they were doing. And that it got, charges on him, and I don't know any more about that. And it's really none of my business, I kind of feel like an asshole for jumping to conclusions and just, like, well, whatever, you're a piece of shit because you're in jail, considering how many times I've been in jail, and so many of those times over just, less than that. So, anyway, we had a pretty good talk, and apparently my words that I said to him that I thought would be the brutally main thing I could say did kind of cut him. And I just kind of pointed out, it's like, what the fuck, dude? You don't even recognize your own coworkers? Yeah, that's because you're not even allowed in the fucking building at night. That's because you're so unwanted around here, you're not even allowed in the building at night, which is the truth. Now, that's not a decision made by me, but that's the situation. And apparently that was a pretty brutal piece of reality, and there's no reason I should have brought that up. I don't know. Just, my head was not in a good place, Who do you work? Who the fuck do you work for? I work for Jim. Yeah, I work for Jim too. Anyway, we had a bit more of a discussion, and I was just kind of crying, and he suggested that I lay down on a mattress further down the parking lot, and I'm just like, I'm not really down for that. God knows what kind of bed bugs or shit is over there. And he's like, well, you're laying on the cement where people piss. And I'm like, yeah, probably. So I just feel more comfortable here. And then he'd ask, well, do you have he's like, so do you not have anywhere to go? And I'm like, I'm like, no, I got an all right apartment. I just have no way to get there. And he asked where it was, and I told him, about 46th Street in Oak, and he's just like, oh damn, that is really far. And on that note, I actually drove it today in Priscilla's vehicle, and it's been so long since I've even been in somebody else's vehicle as a passenger, let alone driving, going from Bullock's home, that I forgot what a quick, easy drive that is. And I guess I could look at my own vlogs. I mean, that used to be when I usually vlogged, was on the drive from Bullock's home, and memory serves, it was about 20 minutes, 15 minutes, I don't know, pretty quick. But I feel like I kind of built up a bit of a viewing audience on this channel just because people like seeing dash cam views of driving around city of Phoenix and Phoenix freeways, and and I'm sure I've alienated whatever following I had with that, with just me just talking about how god awful my life is as I walk around watching everybody else just drive by me. All right, how about some pedestrian infrastructure? 41st Street, this is the new Hawk, and it is finally functional. And they finally have a sign over here where it was saying bus stop moved, where the bus stop used to be. Now it says temporary bus stop. So, wait. Yeah, I feel like I did put this Hawk on a vlog recently, but that guy's stopping, so he must be getting ready to let me walk. Yeah, there it goes. That's a pretty reasonable amount of time. I didn't feel the need to just jaywalk waiting for it to change. Now, granted, it didn't stop much. Okay, it's 16. The guy behind me is driving past, so I'm gonna assume it's doing the wig wag blink up above me. So that's pretty helpful. So there's signs up there say 41st Street, but they took down the street sign that was on top of this stop sign. So while traffic on McDowell can see the big old school Phoenix type street sign that says 41st Street above the traffic light, which seems weird how they did it with like just one long pole going across the side like that, as opposed to one from each side. But yeah, big sign says 41st Street. But if you're on 41st Street, there is no longer a street sign to let you know that this is McDowell Road. Of course, it's kind of come to my attention that most people these days when they drive are using some sort of a GPS program on their phone that tells them what streets they're approaching and when to turn and all that, and basically letting that software and those devices think for them, which I think is making people's navigational skills very soft. But hey, it's the world we live in now. Yeah, people just not even knowing how to navigate anymore, just going where the voice tells them to go and paying zero attention to the pedestrians while I'm out here fending for myself. But at least I got one place where it's a little safer now to cross the street, which is great considering how many near misses I've had trying to cross. Now there's the bus stop that I'm usually getting off of when I'm coming to the Wanderin, and it does kind of suck that I have to backtrack to 41st Street instead of having a crosswalk here at 41st Place. But I think, I'm not sure. I know that there's actually with the law regarding unmarked crosswalks like what I'm using here. There's no stripes on the road, but going from a street corner to a street corner, that's an unmarked crosswalk. I do recall when I read that law, and one of these days I'm going to remember when I talk about this to actually look up the law and copy and paste a link to it, or copy and paste the state statute into my video. But one of the things that defines it is not only a connection between a street corner and an opposite corner, like from here to the sidewalk directly opposite me on McDowell, but that guy's got no headlights on. Fabulous. But there is a requirement that it must be a certain distance from a marked crosswalk. Now, I don't recall what that distance is, and it's debatable as to whether right here at 41st Place is far enough from the new Hawk at 41st Street. I would expect probably not, but I don't know. I should look that law up when I get home, get a moment to do that. In fact, I could do that while I'm having a beer over here at Wanderin, which I guess I should do. Sorry, thoughts are meandering so bad this morning. Just trying to cope with my girlfriend not only not giving it up to me, but apparently feeling at this point that it's better to just spend the night with, I don't know, whoever she's spending the night with that isn't me. Instead of, I don't know, cleaning up her fucking mess in the kitchen. In fact, my mother, like I said, she was in town recently, and sometimes when she's there, like just being the mom that she is, she would do the dishes if there were dirty dishes in the sink, and I'm just like, you need to do that. And she said that she kind of felt an urge to do it, and then decided against it because she knew that it wasn't my mess, and it's not. But the mess is driving me out of my home. Apparently driving her out of her home, and she's not there. And kind of makes me wish I still had pictures of her place when she had her apartment in Tempe before she moved in with me for what was supposed to be a couple of weeks years ago. Because that place was atrocious, absolutely atrocious, and I couldn't be blamed for any of that. Like, I had very few things there. And, that was 100% her. Now, granted, I know she's been, at the time, was struggling quite a bit with her vision. But still, it just kind of seems to be what she is and who she is. And if I don't want that kind of filth in my life, I don't think I have any choice but to get rid of her. I mean, I struggle with cleaning and hoarding as it is. And so to have somebody with me that's in many ways messier, way messier than I am, to the point it attracts cockroaches that eat and destroy my microwave. I gotta fix that. Anyway, I've wasted almost 30 minutes. I'm at the Wanderin. I'm gonna drink away my sorrows. Thanks for coming with me on the walk.